It all started with nationwide outrage, showrooms being defaced, service centers being surrounded, and protests calling Tesla the new symbol of everything wrong with America. Resale values collapsed, banks stopped financing options, Tesla refused to take its own vehicles for trade-in. Before Tesla could catch its breath, it was bankrupt. Stock markets crashed, and the world changed overnight. This isn't the story of a company. It's the story of a cultural fire that burned down $1 trillion empire and triggered the next Great Depression. You're watching Future Scenarios, where we explore the turning points that haven't happened yet, but could tomorrow. What happens if the Tesla protests don't stop? What if more owners start disowning their cars, publicly and loudly, and the backlash keeps spreading? A company once seen as the pinnacle of innovation, now turned into a symbol of division, regret, and buyer's remorse. This isn't science fiction. It's already happening. Around the United States, Teslas are being vandalized, even in broad daylight. Windshields smashed, tires slashed, and cars set on fire. It's not just protest, it's symbolic destruction. Showrooms are defaced with graffiti. Employees arrive each morning to surprises from the night before. Tesla is facing something more dangerous than competition: brand toxicity. When a product becomes socially radioactive, almost nothing can save it. Resale values are plummeting. Dealerships across the country are refusing to accept Teslas on trade-in. Fleets like Hertz are dumping Teslas, not because of protest pressure, but because they're expensive to repair and sit idle for weeks waiting on parts. The result is the same. The used market floods, and prices collapse further. Owners are feeling the pressure. They're taking massive losses just to get out, while new buyers steer clear altogether. The brand now sends a message: political, personal, and polarizing. And that makes the product itself harder to sell, no matter how advanced the tech is, or how excellent the reviews are. Musk didn't do damage control. He deflected, engaged directly, then carried on seemingly without a care in the world. Media outlets are amplifying every social media post, every insult, and every joke. Tesla isn't just controversial anymore. It's actively bleeding public trust. So what happens if this trend continues? What does it look like when a brand collapse turns into a corporate death spiral and drags the world economy down with it? Let's follow the chain reaction. As the months pass and the protests and outrage continues, the brand becomes simply too radioactive. Nobody wants to touch Tesla. The financial damage becomes systemic. Used Teslas become liabilities. Rental fleets accelerate their offloading, and the used market is completely flooded. Sales spiral. Dealers can't move inventory. Buyers can't get financing. Tesla's own trade-in program grinds to a halt. Tesla sits on lots for weeks, then months. Even loyal customers walk away. Then comes the blow that breaks the industry's confidence: a major safety-related recall. But national media runs the footage on loop, sparking doubt even among die-hard supporters. The Model 2 project disappears from investor briefings. The robot taxi and Optimus seem like merely pipe dreams. Cash flow dries up. Suppliers demand payment up front. Small contractors walk away mid-project. Supercharger networks are left in disarray. Tesla stock falls below $80. Investor calls go unanswered. Analysts downgrade. Confidence crumbles. Eventually, Tesla misses bond payments. Layoffs got 20% of staff. Internal memos leak, followed by a whistleblower. They claim the board had modeled this exact outcome months ago, knew the risks, did nothing. The press erupts. Tesla's fall, a case study in reputation risk. Elon's empire at war with itself. Silence at the top as investors flee. Musk, he doubles down. More posts, more mockery, no apology, no accountability. And then, silence. Soon after, Tesla files for Chapter 11, bankruptcy. At first, Tesla's bankruptcy is seen as just another high-profile tech collapse. But very quickly, the market starts connecting the dots. Tesla wasn't just a car company, it was the cornerstone of speculative growth, wrapped in hype, retail investment, and institutional bets. Its stock was embedded across portfolios, index funds, pensions, and ETFs. It was the heartbeat of investment firms and retail investors alike, and a proxy for the entire future-forward tech sector. So when it fell, it didn't fall alone. It pulled everything with it. Trillions are erased in hours. The Nasdaq collapses. Trading halts are triggered back-to-back. Investment firms implode. Tech-heavy ETFs spiral. Major funds with Tesla exposure tank. Retail investors are wiped out. Confidence evaporates. Panic sets in. Banks begin to freeze credit lines. Margin calls cascade across brokerage platforms. Treasury yields spike. Safe haven buying surges as volatility explodes. Headlines read, "The next Great Depression has begun." The Fed scrambles to intervene, slashing rates, injecting liquidity. But the contagion spreads faster than policy can respond. Venture capital vanishes. IPO pipelines evaporate. Startups fold in waves. Some banks begin to fold. Regional institutions with overexposure to tech portfolios are first. Depositors rush to withdraw. The FDIC steps in. Wall Street is stunned. Main Street is afraid. And the world realizes the fall of Tesla wasn't just a tech story. It was the trigger for a reckoning, decades in the making. In Berlin, Shanghai, and the United States, Tesla's gigafactories shutter, displacing thousands. Stock values across the world plummet. Regulators scramble to contain the fallout, but that is just the beginning of the human toll. In the US, unemployment spikes to unseen levels. Small businesses shutter overnight. Hourly workers are laid off in droves. A former Tesla engineer, once celebrated for his role in AI development, now files for unemployment while his house sits on the market. A single mother in Ohio, who leased a Tesla for her Uber side hustle, watches her income evaporate as the car sits in the shop indefinitely, waiting on unavailable parts. A robotics startup in Austin collapses overnight after losing its primary funding, Tesla Ventures. The ripple effects spread fast. Layoffs sweep through auto suppliers, tech startups, solar installers, and battery manufacturers. Dealerships close. EV infrastructure projects stall. Cities that partnered with Tesla for smart transport initiatives scramble to redirect funding and salvage what they can. 401ks are gutted. Mortgage delinquencies climb. Families postpone buying homes, cars, anything. Food banks see record demand. Crime ticks upward. College enrollments drop as families reprioritize survival over tuition. A new austerity takes hold. People cancel vacations. Second jobs vanish. Home upgrades are put on the back burner. What was once an isolated collapse becomes a national regression. A single automaker, brought down by its own cultural flameout, now drags the US into economic paralysis. It began with a protest by consumers angry at Elon Musk. Not a strike, not a lawsuit, not a whistleblow, just people who wanted to make a point and take a stand. Some wanted him canceled, some just wanted him humbled, some called for worse. But their outrage became the first domino. And once it fell, so did Tesla, the market, and the global economy. Was it predictable? Absolutely. Was it justified? That depends on who you ask. Some argue this was inevitable, that Tesla was over-leveraged, overhyped, and overdue for collapse. The protesters just lit a match near a fuse already primed by arrogance and unsustainable growth. The protesters' short-sightedness, driven by hatred for Elon Musk, justified or not, set off a chain of events with life-changing consequences for all Americans and the world at large. This isn't just a future scenario, it's a warning, because when perception collapses, everything else follows. And sometimes, the collapse of a single idea can take the whole system with it. If this future feels impossible, remember, it's already in motion. This was just one scenario, but the next one, it might already be happening. Please like and subscribe to future scenarios if you enjoyed this story.